Alright, what's up guys? Hope you're having a great day. This will be a quick guide on how to set your pop-ups inside of Klaviyo. So I took a random brand called Flow. They basically sell mineral spring water. They sell water that's good for you and the planet. And yeah, I created a sample pop-up for this brand. And yeah, this is how it looks like. So you see there are two different pop-ups for both the mobile and the desktop. And this one is called micro commit. So it basically means that before we give the people the option to sign up to enter their email, we first ask them, do you want the offer? In this case, it's 10% off. So the first thing people will see is this one. So it says, want 10% of your first order. Then if they click yes, please, then this page will show up. Now, if they click no thanks, close form, obviously they will just close the form and continue on the website. So this is how you create it inside of Klaviyo. So first things first, you go to your Klaviyo account, you click on sign up forms, then you select the sign up form you want to start with. I like this one. I usually start with this one. It's kind of like a Picasso type of image, right? Here you want to name the pop-up, and I'll just name it mobile pop-up. We want to have two separate versions for a mobile and desktop, and that's because we want to A/B test it in the future, and it just makes everything more cleaner. The data is easier to track, and yeah. And next thing is selecting the email list that people will subscribe to or get added to when they enter their email on the pop-up. Now this one is really important to not mess up because it will connect it to your welcome flow. The trigger of the welcome flow is when someone is added to the list, name of the list, and you want it to be the same list that people get added to when they enter their email on the pop-up. Otherwise, people won't they won't be added to your welcome flow, and we all know how much money is that missing out on, right? So let's just select email list for this example. And here they ask you if you want to include a teaser, and it says higher conversions, right? So this is kind of a double-edged sword because yes, it will have higher conversions, but it also might be quite annoying for the people on your website, and it might lower the conversion rate of your actual website, right? So yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I usually keep this turned off, but you can also test it. But yeah, let's just keep it off for now. Yeah, let's click create form and wait for it to load. Alright, so now the first thing I want to do is actually go swap to the mobile. I like to first make the mobile because that's where the most of the people will come through. So yeah, let's start with the mobile. Now the first thing when I select this pop-up is what I like to do is actually expand it to 500. So let's see, when I expand it to 500, you can see how bigger it is. And we want to make it like around 70 to 80% of the screen, right? So 500 is good enough. Maybe you can also make it 450, but yeah. And now next thing is I want to update the background. It's kind of white, but not really. So I just quickly update it while we're here. It's kind of gray, right? Okay, next thing I want to remove this text because I don't need it. And then I want to add the logo here, this one, right? So let's add an image. And I already have it ready, or this one. Okay, and let's make it a bit bigger. And this one is too much. How about 150? Maybe 140. All right, that's big enough. I mean, that's big enough for people to see, but not to be like the biggest thing in the pop-up because we want the offer to be the biggest thing. Let's add some padding. Let's make it 20 on the bottom. All right, perfect. Now for the copy, it says want 10% of your first order. And this is what we're gonna do. So want 10% off your first order. Let's select it all. Let's centralize it and let's make it Poppins. Bold. Now we just want the 10% off to be bold. And I like to make these two, I want to make them 36, and for the big offer, I like to make it 56, right? So it really stands out, and it's possible for people to miss. And I want it to be the first thing they see, and I want them to understand the offer in a split second. So by making it bigger and bolder, it's like the first thing, right? The person doesn't even have to read want your first order; they can just see 10% off, and their brain will subconsciously understand the offer. Now let's just update the color of the text. Select all, click here, and yeah, that should be good. Okay, so we have something that's kind of looking like this. So the next thing is this section right here. So you can see here it says no thanks, close form. So let's write that, no thanks, close form. Let's make the font normal. And for the color, I wanted to blend in with the background. Now I can just make it the same color as the background because it's a single color background, or I can just make it transparent by clicking here. And I'll just make it transparent. Alright, next thing is the button. Now, here I like to make it a bit smaller, actually 30. Now, the first thing we're kind of trained, like we kind of evolved to when a pop-up pops up, we'll look at the top right-hand corner to find for the exit, the X button to close it, right? Even if we are interested maybe in the offer, we just look for the closing button. So what I like to do is actually make it invisible, transparent, right? Just go here and make it transparent so the person doesn't see it. Now this doesn't mean it's not there. So if a person clicks there with their mouse or with their thumb, they will still be able to close the form. But we gave them 3 options to close the form. So this one, no thanks close form, or they can just click outside of the form to close it. We want to narrow it to 2, right? I mean, they still have this option, but it's just not visible, right? But yeah, you can test it, but in almost 100% of the times, this will increase the conversion rate without damaging or annoying or anything. All right, next thing is we want to update the button. So yeah, let's see. What's the color? Let's copy it. Okay, the text is, you definitely don't want to say it continue because that implies there are multiple steps and the person doesn't. The more friction you have, the less likely people are to comply, to do the action. So you can just say yes, please. And let's make it bigger because it's a single. Let's make it, yeah, 25 is okay. All right, so we have our button. Now I want to make the actual button bigger. So let's make it 64. Now for the next part, we will make it smaller, but because it's the only button, I want it to be big and bold and really noticeable. And now what I want to do is actually save this one for the next step. So I'll just copy it. Let's just click here, copy. Let's name it step 2. All right, let's go back to our original one. Let's add the name just to make it more cleaner, step 1. All right, and let's just delete the email input field because we don't have it in this step, right? It's in the next step. All right, this kind of looks okay. Maybe we can add a bit padding here. Yeah, just go here. Let's make it 14. Just add some white space. And yeah, the first step kind of looks good. Just one more thing, I just want to add the alt text. Here basically means that if the image doesn't load, then it has to be something, so it will basically be just text. Here you can just give a brief description of the image. So in this case, I would just say flow, mineral, spring, water logo. All right, let's actually copy that so we can have it for the next one here. All right, perfect. Now here the copy is different, so it says take instead of want because they already said they want it, right? And yeah, so here it says unlock my 10% off. So let's do that. Let's make it a bit smaller, maybe 24. Yeah, 24 looks fine. And let's make the button small. Let's make it 60. I still want the button to be larger than the email input field. But yeah, let's make this one 60 and the button 58. Okay, so here, let's just quickly, here it says enter your email, and we can do that, enter your email instead of just email. Both are okay, not really a big difference. But yeah, so here let's go to styles menu. The background is white, I like that one, but I want the border to be all black, right? So it kind of stands out. Let's make it 58. And yeah, all right, so we have our second step. So the person, this pops up, they click here, yes, please. Then they click here, they enter the email, they click unlock my 10% off, and then they get added. Let's just delete this step because it's just unnecessary. Here basically says, here, this one is basically to collect the name. Now this will lower your conversion rate because it's just more extra step that a lot of people won't be willing to take. So the benefit of that is having their email, so you can have kind of a bit more personalization in your email, but the trade-off is just not worth it. Calling someone by their name and by having less people in your email list is just a terrible trade-off. So most of the time you don't want to collect that one, especially in e-commerce. Maybe you want it in like some info products or stuff like that, where it's most like plain text, but yeah, in e-commerce you don't want it. Okay, next thing is the success page. Now here again, let's just add the logo. All right, select image, this one. Let's make it 140 and say flow mineral spring water logo. Let's add the padding. All right, now here let's just update this copy. Instead of thanks or thank you, I like to say welcome in, because thanks applies that they did something for you, but we want to make it so that they got the benefit. They got 10% off and we only got their email, right? In their minds, maybe not that, maybe they got the better off of the deal, right? Better end of the deal, right? So let's change the color. Okay. And here, because in this case, we don't want to give the people the discount code in the actual pop-up, I will just say, check your email inbox to find your 10% off discount code. Let's bold the 10% off discount code. And let's make the entire thing a bit bigger. Let's say 18. All right, perfect. Now, in this case, you can also add a button for the people to close. Now let's, I still have it. I see you can just say close form if the person doesn't know that they can click outside or anything, right? Because here we don't have this no thanks close form button. Yeah, let's make it bigger. Say this one. Or you can also say like shop now or continue shopping or anything. But yeah, you don't even have to put it, but it's a nice thing. Alright, so we got our mobile pop-up ready. So this is the first step. This is the second one. Everything looks clean. Alright. Now the next thing is we want to do some targeting and behavior magic. So just go here. First, I like to go to targeting. And here I want to say don't show on certain URLs. And those URLs are those who contain /cart or /checkout. Why? Because at this point, if the person is adding the products to the cart or checkout, we don't want to show them the discount code because they are likely to buy without the discount code and we can just save your margins, right? It's not worth it to add them to the email list. They will also get added automatically when they buy, because when you buy, you have to enter your email. So it's just a waste of time, right? And just a waste of margins, in this case, 10% of your margins, right? And here, it's really important, so select when this form should be displayed. We never want it to be immediately. Why? Because the person didn't even have the chance to meet you, to understand more about your brand, and you're already offering them 10% off. That's not the best. So here we want to select based on rules. Now the first rule is, that is an option, is when visitor is exiting the page. What this means, basically, let's imagine that I'm on the website right now and this is the close button, right? What I want, so what this basically means is that when the person's mouse is hovering towards the exit button or when it's hovering above it, and it's basically right before they end up clicking it and leaving the website, the pop-up will pop up and say, hey, don't leave. I mean, say whatever is in the pop-up, but let's say, hey, don't leave, here's 10% off, right? Now, this obviously only works for desktop because we can track the mouse movement, but we cannot track your eyes or your finger, your thumb on mobile, right? So yeah, this only applies for the desktop, but yeah, I'll just keep it checked. Next thing, after time delay. This basically means that when a person lands on the website, how many seconds should it pass before the pop-up pops up? So I'll just say 6. That's like anywhere between 4 to 12 is okay, but the sweet spot for most of the brands, at least in our experience, is anywhere between 6 to 8 seconds. So I'll just make it 6. And after visitor has scrolled a certain amount, so we like to make this 70. So basically says after a person has scrolled 70%, then the pop-up will pop up. And these two are really dependent on your brand. Like if your brand has really long a website that explains, maybe it's a difficult product to understand, maybe it's some high-tech stuff, you want to make it bigger, right? You want to make it like 12 seconds, so the person has enough time to understand more about the brand before concluding that they even want the discount code, right? And finally, we have after visitor sees a certain number of pages. Let's say if the person browses through 3 pages, then they see it. I usually have this turned off because it's more likely that they will be on the one page for 6 seconds rather than seeing 3 pages in less than 6 seconds, right? So yeah, then it says frequency. So if the person doesn't want, if they decline the offer, they close the form, and when do we want to show the form again? So we can, default Klaviyo is 5 days, and that's kind of okay. So yeah, maybe in 5 days the person changed their mind and they are more welcoming the 10% off, right? So you can just leave it at 5 days. That's totally okay. And next thing is, so click outside form to close. You want to have it checked on both, especially if you blended the X button with the background. And here it says display on. Now, because like I mentioned earlier, we want to have separate for desktop and for mobile. I'll just select for mobile here, and I'll show you how to duplicate it and make it for the desktop. Alright, so we got all the triggers, we got the pop-up ready, and that's good to go. The only thing that's missing is clicking here, publish, and publishing the pop-up so it's now on your website. Now, I won't do that, obviously, because this is a dummy account, so I'll just leave it here. I'll just click here. Alright, so now that we have our mobile pop-up ready, what we want to do is click here and click clone. And let's name it desktop pop-up. Let's click continue. Alright, let's click edit. Now, remember earlier in targeting a behavior, we selected display only on mobile. Here we want to display it only on desktop, right? And you'll notice that here, the image is on the left. So what we want to click here, just swap it to the left, and let's just change the image. I already have the other one. And yeah, you can see that it's the same image from here. But you'll also notice it's kind of zoomed in, it's kind of bigger, right? You can see here F is kind of cut off, but here it isn't. And so what we want to do is just actually expand the width of the pop-up on the desktop. And that's even better, the better it is on desktop too is also better. But yes, okay, so we have the picture, let's just name it, let's say flow mineral spring water. Let's do the same for the other step. Let's replace the image. All right, and for the success page also. All right, here you can see that it's kind of custom. It's not kind of, so yeah, we can just click here cover, and yeah, that should be good to go. Let's just quickly give it a look. Okay, so the person says this, they click here yes please, they see the step. All right, and let's check the targeting behavior. 6 seconds, 70%, desktop only, doesn't contain, not be shown on cart, and checkout URLs. Okay, perfect. What I also want to show you is how to A/B test. So if let's say here we have 2 steps, but what if only 1 step is the winner? So this is how we test it. We click here, create A/B test, then we name it. The first one, let's say it micro commit, or let's say 2 steps. Now for the other one, let's say 1 step, right? So I'll just create a test. All right. Let's wait for it to load, obviously. And for sort of 2 steps is already done. But for the second one, what we want to do is, obviously, if you want to test different stuff, then you just edit it accordingly. But in this case, we can just delete the first step. And voila, the only thing that people will see is this, take 10% off your first order, and then this one if they sign up. And that's it. Then you click here, continue to test settings, and just click here, publish A/B test, and that's it. Now you also want to do that for the mobile pop-up, because here you can see it says drafted. If we went live, it would say live with 2 A/B tests. And yeah, that's it. I hope this pop-up guide was helpful to you guys, and now you know how to set it up in Klaviyo. If you need their help, please let me know. But besides that, have a nice rest of your day. See ya.